Alarming new research has revealed Victorians have gambled and lost $66 billion in the 30 years since pokies were introduced in the state. Australia as a nation has topped the list of the world's worst gambling losses on average, equating to around $1,000 per adult each year. Reverend Tim Costello from the Alliance for Gambling Reform joins us now. Tim, thanks for joining us. These figures are for one state alone, with Australia topping the world. The closest next country is Singapore, and we're 40% in front of Singapore. So what does this say about Australia's gambling problem?
Well, it says that we have the most irresponsible government and government policies anywhere in the world. I often liken this to the blind spot Americans have with guns, and the whole world, including Australia, cannot believe they won't reduce the number of guns. But the NRA has captured American politicians, the Republican Party particularly. Here the gambling industry has captured Australian politicians, and we not only have 18% of the world's pokies, but 75% of the world's pokies in clubs and pubs. And what we know, two productivity commissions have shown, is it's accessibility that creates the problem. Most pokies are in casinos. You've got to get there, destination gambling, get home. Here, they're everywhere, and you're going to buy your milk and bread and you're drawn in.
So my TV screen's flooded with gambling advertisements constantly. Could that be part of the problem?
Absolutely. So Italy, Spain, most other nations have banned sports betting ads. They're grooming our kids. This is the first generation of parents that have had to explain to their kids there is a difference between sport and betting, between AFL, NRL, cricket and betting. That is not allowed in so many other parts of the world. So we literally have handed our kids over as fodder to foreign sports betting companies with their tsunami of gambling ads. That's certainly part of the problem.
Tim, the thing that I still don't quite understand, though, is why the losses in Australia are so much greater than any other country. Why are we losing more proportionately?
Because we have so many more pokies, Hamish.
It's simple as that. It's just the pokies.
Absolutely, accessibility. So of the 24 billion lost in gambling by Australians each year, 15 billion is just from pokies. And as I said, most pokies are in casinos, their destination gambling. The other reason is historic. The only two places in the world in 1955 when pokies started being played in Sydney was Las Vegas and Sydney, both, by the way, run by crime, and we've never got really the crime out of this.
Yeah. But I do want to ask you about that, right? Because we've all seen that there's been these royal commissions and investigations into the operations of casinos. There's been threats of punishment. There's been loss of licences in some cases, but we still seem to give a lot of leeway and room for these organisations to improve. Why do we find it as a nation so difficult to actually take a hard line even when there is serious wrongdoing?
Well, for two reasons. The same reason that Americans find it hard with the NRA's dominance. There's been capture, state capture of regulators and both sides of politics by the gambling industry. In my state, the licences for pokies weren't coming up for renewal for 5 years, and in 2017 Premier Dan Andrews gave them licences to 2045. And then we discovered later the largest donation ever from the gambling industry to state Labor, $761,000, had been made. So it's donations, it's capture of the regulators, it's state capture, and it's this myth that Australians just by instinct are baptised into eucalyptus oil and a punt at birth. Let me tell you, that's a complete nonsense. The Chinese, the Kiwis, the Irish, all like Australia, claim to be great gamblers and have a passion for it. We've had the most irresponsible gambling policy and capture by the gambling industry of politics and regulators.
Reverend Tim Costello, thanks for your time on the project tonight.
That's a pleasure.
And if this conversation has raised any issues for you, then call the gambling helpline on 1800 858 858.
And stick to the eucalyptus oil.